Welcome to the Battery Atlanta, a special edition of Sports Extra. This is so much fun, you guys. The All-Star Game is in town. It's going down on Tuesday night, and two of the best to talk about baseball are with me. We have Gabe Burns from the AJC next to me. You excited for the All-Star Game?
Absolutely. It's been a long time coming getting this game back here. 25
years since it's been in Atlanta. We're excited to see it back. And, of course, our guy that knows everything about the Braves, our Braves insider, Grant McAuley. How excited are you to have the All-Star Game?
I'm very excited. There aren't too many of these, as Gabe said. They don't come around too often, so we got to get everything we can get out of it, and I think we're going to do that today.
Let's talk about everything that is the All-Star Game, because we know Home Run Derby is involved on Monday. It's not just the All-Star Game, it's All-Star Week. There are so many festivities leading up to the big game on Tuesday. What are you most excited about, Gabe, when it comes to just this being back in Atlanta?
Oh, man, it's kind of hard to pick out one thing. I would say definitely the Home Run Derby. I think we're all suckers for that. I mean, that's such a special event. You know, like, you look at the NFL, they can't get the Pro Bowl figured out. The NBA can't get its All-Star Game figured out. But MLB has always done such a nice job with this event, and it really means something to the tradition of the sport and to fans. And I just think that's actually really cool that people still do care about this stuff.
Hockey figured it out, but I was just going to let you know that. Okay, Grant, let's talk about the All-Star festivities as well. Not just the All-Star Game, which we are incredibly excited about, but I'm looking forward to the Home Run Derby. What about you? What are you looking forward to?
I'm looking forward to that, and I think I kind of echo with Gabe that this is, of all the major sports, about as close as it gets to like the real game action. And obviously hockey does a very nice job as well, but things have kind of been trending in that wrong direction for a while, and shout out to Major League Baseball for figuring out that fans want to see the players in their own uniforms again too, after a couple of years of not getting that. But the Home Run Derby is going to be a lot of fun. Being the in-person element of it and everything that the fans can experience over the course of, 5 solid days here, there is a lot to take in, and this is exactly the kind of thing that I think a baseball person like myself would sign up for every year if I could. It's just nice to have it in my own backyard.
It's so nice. Shades of World Series 2021, when there were so many fans all around the Battery, and somebody that knows a thing or two about big events inside the ballpark, inside Truist Park, is Braves President and CEO Derek Schiller. He and I chatted about all things All-Star. Here it is. I'm here now with the Braves President and CEO, Derek Schiller, who has been very busy getting ready for Atlanta's third All-Star Game. Can you believe that now this city gets to showcase 3 Major League Baseball All-Star Games?
I am ready to go. Super proud of where we are and ready to get this thing going. So, these things only come around every 30 years or so. So you're right, this is the third time that Atlanta has hosted. Last in 2000, prior to that in 72. And each year it's kind of changed. So expect, if you were at 2000 or for that matter 72, expect a lot of changes, a lot of differences, but an improved and even better event.
There are events all weekend leading up to the All-Star Game on Tuesday. What are you excited about when it comes to just showcasing what not only the Battery has to offer, but this beautiful ballpark and everything the Braves organization has worked for?
Yeah, I think if you haven't been here before and you're coming for All-Star Game, let's say, you probably haven't experienced this beautiful ballpark that I think is the best in Major League Baseball, and it's going to be, dressed up beyond even a typical game, as you would expect. But a lot of people have heard about this concept is the Battery, and a lot of people in my position from other teams kind of studied this and said, how can we replicate this? What is this? So a lot of people are coming here to discover what the Battery represents. So we're really excited for turning on the Battery, turning on the ballpark. You get to use the pedestrian bridge, go over to the Cobb Galleria with the All-Star Village. So there's this connection that this whole thing was really built for. We're getting to showcase right here as part of this event.
3 different Braves players that get to be a part of the All-Star festivities. How exciting is it to see those 3 guys get represented?
I think if you're the host team, you really want to see your guys wearing their home jersey, playing for the team, and representing that. Of course, the fans are going to be filling the stands, and my guess is more fans from the Braves than any other team, and so they want to see their guys. No matter what, you're going to see a collection of phenomenal athletes doing great things, and everybody having a good time. I mean, the one sort of weird thing about this, right, is you don't really care about ultimately who wins this game. I mean, you want the National League to win, of course, but at the end of the day, it's not that. It doesn't count in the standings per se. So, just cheering on a bunch of guys having fun, watching great baseball.
We are so excited for the Midsummer Classic and appreciate all the hard work you guys have done. Derek, thanks. Appreciate the time.
Thanks. Look forward to it.
awesome conversation with Derek as always, and he mentioned the home run derby we have at length because we're all so stoked to see the home run derby. Grant, I'll start with you. To have Matt Olson play this in his backyard, it's his second home run derby. He's replacing Ronald Acuna Jr. What's that experience going to be like for Matt, and does he have a chance to win that thing?
I think anybody's got a chance. I mean, when you hit as many home runs as Matt Olson has over the course of his career, I think since he debuted, only Aaron Judge has hit more home runs in Major League Baseball. So I'm going to give Matt a really solid chance of winning this thing. But on the flip side of it, from the person Matt Olson, the kid that grew up a Braves fan just north of Atlanta, that went to the 2000 home run derby as a fan to now get to be in it, that's a pretty cool full circle moment for Matt. I hate, on the flip side of the coin, to not get the show that Ronald Acuna Jr. would have put on or was planning to put on, but Matt Olson is a great story, and I do think he has a chance to win this thing.
Erring on the side of caution, pulling Ronald Acuna Jr. from the home run derby. Of course, we will see him in Tuesday's game, so looking forward to that. Another guy who we will not see at all would be Chris Sale, because he's, of course, injured at the moment, Gabe, and that's unfortunate because back-to-back All-Star appearances for Chris Sale, his 9th overall. Talk about the season that Chris Sale is having just to get him to a place where he can get another All-Star nod.
It was remarkable. It was remarkable because at the beginning people were wondering, wait, what's happening here? You know, it looked like, oh, is he finally showing his age? Was last year even an aberration, which is kind of a crazy thing to say after 3 or 4 starts, but that's kind of the world we live in, right? It's an absolute bummer that he's not in this because I certainly think he would have been an obvious candidate to start the game. And that's nothing, obviously Paul Skeens is incredible, but I think that the obvious move would have been, you know, for Chris Sale to go out there and start this game in front of his home ballpark. So it's unfortunate that he's not part of it, and obviously it's really unfortunate for the Braves that he's not out there every 5th day trying to help this team get out of this hole it's put itself in.
Yeah, Chris Sale is someone that a lot of these players also look up to a lot, so I think it's nice just to see him get the nod and show that he can do it no matter what age he is. We talked about one first baseman, the Braves first baseman. Well, a former Braves first baseman will be here, Freddie Freeman. Yeah, remember that guy?
Yeah.
He kind of won a World Series here, if you remember that. So Freddie Freeman, how do you think the reaction is going to be from fans? Because there's still a lot of Braves fans who love him, but they've moved on to the idea of Matt at this point.
Yeah, I do think, and it comes up all the time, this conversation, the either or. It has gotten quieter in the last couple of years, but look, this is a homecoming of sorts for him. There are a lot of people that, even though he's gone, hold him in very high esteem. He's going to get his number retired. He's going to go into Cooperstown, in my belief, in a Braves uniform. We'll see what he does to finish up with the Dodgers. He's not won a World Series for both, but long story short, this is a very respected player, and I think he's earned the applause that he's going to get on Tuesday night.
And he's played plenty of times in Truist Park in a Dodgers uniform, so the emotions of that have been taken out of it.
Yeah.
But I think he's going to be excited to be here in this ballpark. One more former Brave that I want to get to, Max Fried, who will not be playing in the All-Star game, but he will be here for the festivities. He has gone on to New York, done great things, just as Freddie has done in Los Angeles. How would you describe the way Max has taken New York by storm and the season that he's having?
You know, you can't help but to wonder sometimes when guys go from a market like this to a place like New York, how they're going to handle it. He's thriving. He's been great. He's become a leader for that franchise. He's a consummate professional. I'm happy for him. Like, for a Southern California guy, he has adopted Atlanta. I know he and his family were planning to spend the All-Star break here anyway. He's just, I mean, you can't say enough about him. There's a reason that they paid him, and there's a reason that he got another All-Star nod.
8 seasons. It's going to be a little bit emotional, I think, for Max to come back here in this setting because he could have been pitching. I know, unfortunately, he can't because he's dealing with that finger issue, but we're excited to see Max around here. And a couple of guys that used to play for the Braves that you might know really well, Chipper Jones and Andrew Jones, they were All-Stars themselves plenty of times, and we chatted with them about the importance of the All-Star game being here in Atlanta.
We both was in the All-Star game in 2000, so to have it back here this year again is something special, and for us to be part of it, starting from the future game here, and be part of the home run derby, all these experiences that is around the city, it's awesome, great.
It's a once in a career opportunity for Matt Olson, Ronald Acuna, to be able to host an All-Star game in your home ballpark. We did it in 2000. Hank did it before us. We had some pretty good experiences in 2000. It was a lot of fun to be able to not only represent our team and our league, but also our city. That particular week, we played in a bunch of other ones along the way, but that one was the most special and the one that I'll always remember.
The coolest part is seeing the reaction of those kids whenever they see Chipper and Andrew. They are special no matter what. It's so awesome. And what's even more awesome is this current Braves team gets a break during the All-Star game. They need it. We're going to be talking about what the Braves need to do to turn things around. That's next.
11 Alive's All-Star set is furnished by Cortland at the Battery Atlanta. Next level apartment living.
Welcome back to the Battery, everyone, where we are hoping that we're going to get some semblance of a postseason. And when you think about that with this Braves team, they've been very lucky in the last better part of the decade when it comes to postseason runs. I don't know about this Braves team, and now they're dealing with something else. Austin Riley on the 10-day injured list because of some lower abdominal tightness. What do you think this does in the interim, Grant?
Yeah, I mean, it puts another question mark out there for this Braves team and a lineup that, quite frankly, has not been able to perform to its expectations or really anybody's. The Braves are 24th in Major League Baseball in runs scored. If you want to look at reasons why they've lost so many one-run games, it's because they're having trouble finding consistent offense. And even with Ronald Acuna Jr. back and Matt Olson swinging the bat well, you need another threat. And Austin Riley, to me, is the biggest and best threat the Braves have after them. So hopefully this is something that they can just kind of use the All-Star break to, trim down the amount of games that he's going to miss and welcome him back pretty soon thereafter, because they will open the second half with some pretty tough teams in the Yankees and the Giants and the Reds for that matter. So it's not going to get any easier if the Braves want to try to climb out of this very significant hole that they've dug.
Yeah, and the Braves having to get creative with the lineup because of Austin's absence, putting Ronald Acuna Jr. in the 3-hole. That's crazy.
First time in his career that he started in the 3-hole. First time in 6+ years he was moved out of leadoff.
And he looked okay.
Yeah, he did all right. I love 2 out, nobody on home run because that's how they wrote it up.
It's pretty good. No matter where you move him, he's going to be hitting the baseball. But one thing about the Braves this season, it's 1 step forward, it feels like 5 steps back, especially when you think about the rotation. When you're consistently missing guys, and we talk about creativity with the lineup, well, the rotation, they've had to be very creative with this rotation. What's the answer there, Gabe? Is there one?
Pray for better health in the future. You know what? This rotation was surpassing any modest expectations, I feel like. The offense, as Grant laid out, has been killing them. But what are you supposed to do? These guys are dropping like flies. And losing Schwellenbach, who, by the way, I think would have been in this game as well, certainly deserved to. Losing Sale, you're looking around, and, Didier Fuentes, great stuff. I think in a couple of years we could see a really good pitcher. He was nowhere close to ready, and that was a very difficult situation for him to be in. So you're looking at this and this team could certainly benefit from going out and getting another guy. We're at the point where you ask, is it worth buying? I think that's going to be kind of an interesting debate depending on how they end up coming out in the second half here and how they look.
A lot of pressure on Alex Anthopoulos for sure, especially when you open up the old X, formerly known as Twitter. Let's talk about Grant's game changers. We're going to go really quickly here because you have a couple of guys in mind that you believe could really help this team when it comes to pushing for a wild card spot. Who are they?
Yeah, these are some deep cuts as well, so go ahead and pull out your notebook. I want you to write these names down. Number 1 is Ronald Acuna Jr. He's been playing like an MVP candidate since he came back. He is an MVP candidate, even with all the time that he's missed. He is the guy that sets the tone for the lineup. As I mentioned, he has been moved. I don't expect that to be permanent, but necessity is the mother of all invention, and the Braves, as I mentioned, have tried just about everything else to get some run scoring going. Why not try him in a better spot or a different spot for run production's sake? We'll see what the results are of that and how long it lasts. On the flip side, you need somebody to lead this rotation, which Gabe mentioned has been under fire and understaffed now for what is going to be significant amount of time into the second half. No Chris Sale, no Spencer Schwellenbach. That to me means you need Spencer Strider to step up, continue to take the steps forward that he has in his last half a dozen or so starts, and just be that leader. I know that leader typically doesn't go with a guy that plays every 5th day. I think that he's the exception to that rule. I think Chris Sale's an exception to that rule because he sets a tone, and the Braves need somebody setting that tone. So if you're looking for the 2 guys, line up Ronald Acuna Jr., rotation Spencer Strider.
You were joking, but there were some really good nuggets in there, so I hope people pulled out their notebooks. I want to wrap up with Jurickson Profar, who we know returned last week, but one thing we didn't mention is that Braves fans did feel some type of way whenever he was suspended 80-plus games for his performance-enhancing drug issue. Major League Baseball hitting him with that suspension, Gabe. Should Braves forget about it? Braves fans, should they forget about it? Have they? Where do you feel like they are with this?
I think this is pretty simple. When he first came back, I asked Ronald Acuna, what can he do to win you guys' trust back? And he basically said, do his job, play well. If he's going to produce, if he's going to get on base, if he's going to help this team kind of turn this around and win, I think, it was not as bad as it was not an unforgivable crime, right? So people are going to look at this and they're going to go, okay, well, if he's producing, then so be it. But he needs to play well.
As a reminder, if he does continue to play well and the Braves get it together, he cannot participate in the postseason at all. So do with that what you may. One guy that knows a thing or two about the Braves, he's around them a lot these days, Peter Moylan. He's a former Braves reliever, and I got to chat with him about all things All-Star as well.
I've been lucky enough to attend the last couple of All-Star games, and this is doing it right for sure.
You've been mind blown by everything that you've seen around here, especially the All-Star Village.
Yeah.
You've got a chance to check it out. Tell me what was your favorite part and what it's all about over there.
Well, I'm going to go back and check it out because I didn't get to see a lot of it, but just the initial walk in, the amount of stuff that there is for people to do over there is absolutely incredible. The whole mall is completely full of, there's radar guns over there, you can test your speed, there's a bunch of food over there, there's a bunch of appearances, a bunch of guys taking photos, signing autographs, so just a really well done event.
And another really great part of All-Star Week, it's not just one event, there are so many events leading up to the All-Star Game. You got to be a part of the Futures Game as the bullpen coach. What was that like?
It was incredible. Honestly, obviously the greatest part was being in the clubhouse again with Chipper and Tim Hudson and Andrew and you know, Nick Markakis and all these guys, D-Row. And then seeing these young kids who were, you know, maybe first time on a big league stadium, playing in front of a huge crowd. You see the energy they get from it. It's a really good opportunity for a lot of those guys. We're going to see at least a handful of names this year and more than a handful in the next few years of those guys that played in that game be in the big leagues.
Beyond the All-Star Game, this current team has had its fair share of struggles this year. It's kind of been a roller coaster ride for this team. You've watched it firsthand very closely. The All-Star break, how much of a difference can that make for a team who not only is struggling, but they have to turn it around if they want to make the wild card?
It's going to be a massive reset for these guys. The grind, you hear people talk about the grind all the time. It's so real, and especially when you're struggling. You just show it to the field, you're trying to do everything you can to turn it around. Things haven't gone the way they wanted to, obviously. But with a 4-day break, you can just reset your mind, reset your body. You come back, you hit the ground running, and hopefully we can turn this season that's been a little inconsistent, to say the least, into something that, you know, we saw in 21.
And very frustrating for those guys because they believe and they know that they're a completely different team. They should be anyway.
It's hard because, you know, what was carrying the team was the starting pitching for the longest time, and now you've had injuries to Swelly, injury to Sale. One and two guys have come off the roster. You can't replace them. So the bullpen have before 2 weeks ago had thrown the least amount of innings of any bullpen in Major League Baseball. So they're rested, ready to go. They've done their job so far. Their job's going to get a little bit harder. This can be a real opportunity for those guys to step up, and the disappointment of the start of the season can be turned around really quickly.
You can catch our full conversation on 11 Alive Plus right now. And there is one thing that we cannot stop talking about, it seems like, right? Kirk Cousins. He was on Quarterback, the Netflix documentary. We're going to break that down. And SEC Media Days that happens to be in town this week. That's next. Want to welcome you back with Gabe Burns. This is Shades of Texas last year. We were at the All-Star Game together. It was hot, just like it is in Atlanta. We might have been talking about Kirk Cousins last year, too.
Safe bet.
It's something that we can't stop talking about, guys, especially now that Netflix's Quarterback dropped. He was one of the 3 quarterbacks featured, and fans got a little frustrated with Kirk because they hear his frustrations with the Falcons because he didn't know that they were going to draft Michael Penix Jr. What'd you take away from some of those comments that Kirk made in the documentary?
Yeah, I mean, it was a lot of stuff we had either suspected or kind of knew, just as far as, like, of course, he didn't want to sit. You have a first-round quarterback behind you that everybody's waiting to see. That's a scenario. You know, I feel for Kirk there because any player would feel that way, right? And, again, I think he's handled it the best way that he can. He's handled it professionally, but at the same time, you also look at it and you go, well, this is what the money is for too, right? He gets paid. You have to put up with kind of some of this stuff. So, yeah, we know if he knew that Michael Penix was going to be a Falcon, he would have not been a Falcon. But here we are, right? I mean, this is stuff that we've been talking about this now for several months. Every time, I feel like we talk about it every time I'm on it. We've got a real we should have like a Kirk Cousins special every time.
We should. We'd be good at it.
But here we are, and as far as we know, it looks like he's still going to be on the Falcons. So we're going to see how the whole thing plays out. Yeah,
he was playing scout team quarterback for the first time in a decade, which is crazy. He talks about that a little bit in the documentary. And yes, he's going to be QB2, the highest paid backup quarterback and perhaps the best backup quarterback in the NFL. It's a luxury to have multiple very good quarterbacks on your team. So we're just going to have to ride this thing out and unfortunately continuing to talk about Kirk Cousins. SEC Media Days also in town here. This happened in Texas as well. It's following us around. Great thing. Georgia talks on Tuesday. Gunnar Stockton, the quarterback, he's going to be represented along with Dalen Everett and C.J. Allen. What's your biggest question with Georgia?
Well, you know what? You're having to replace a lot of guys. And I think my biggest questions with Georgia are just going to have to be answered on the field. Here's what I will say, though. When we talk about the leadership, guys stepping up, when we listen to Gunnar talk, how is Gunnar going to present himself? Because the reality is there were a lot of issues, concerns with Carson Beck's leadership inside the program. That was a large talking point about how guys are reacting to him. And it seems like that team really rallied around Gunnar in the time that we saw him playing. So I am curious to see how he steps up, how he represents the University of Georgia. Kirby's one of the more candid coaches, I think, as far as saying how he feels and expressing. So I'm curious to hear him, but we'll see.
13 guys left for the NFL. We'll see how Gunnar handles himself. It's a big SEC Media Days, big week in town, and we're going to wrap things up when we get back. Let's wrap things up here because we are super excited for the All-Star game. Even more so, we've been talking about the Home Run Derby this entire episode. Who's your pick? Who's going to win?
All right, I got to go with the guy with the best nickname in the Derby. I'm not meaning to pick against Matt Olson, but I'm going with the big dumper. Cal Raleigh has continued to hit home runs at a ridiculous pace. I think he's going to do that on Monday, too.
Okay, Gabe?
I'll tell you what, Raleigh would have been my pick, but someone has to take Matt, right? Someone's got to go. Braves finally have a Derby winner. We're going Matt Olson.
I was going to pick Matt Olson, so I'm still going to pick Matt Olson, especially because this is his home ballpark. He grew up around Metro Atlanta. You mentioned the iconic story of him being at the Derby in 2000. What an amazing opportunity for him and for everybody else. Anything else you guys want to add about All-Star Week? It's back.
It is back, long awaited, and ready to jump in.
Long awaited. So happy for these fans. You know what, Atlanta baseball fans, they need this year. It's been a tough season. This is something to smile about, right?
They need happiness is what they need, and you get that with All-Star Week. Appreciate you guys being out here. We're going to be out here for the next 48 hours straight, bringing you all things All-Star Game. Have a fabulous week. Remember, Home Run Derby on Monday, All-Star Game on Tuesday.